Why the Bully Kutta is banned, the strongest dog of Pakistan. Imagine a dog so powerful, it was once used to hunt lions. A dog so intimidating, entire countries have made it illegal to own one. A dog so loyal, it will stand between its family and a wild animal without a second thought, but so dangerous in the wrong hands that governments around the world have banned it outright. This is the Bully Kutta, the Pakistani Mastiff, and today, we're going to uncover exactly why this legendary breed carries a reputation that few dogs on earth can match. By the end of this video, you'll understand where this breed came from, why it's considered one of the most powerful dogs alive, why so many countries have banned it, and whether the fear surrounding it is actually justified. Stick around till the end, because I'm going to break down something most videos on this topic get completely wrong. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Pet Kennel 91. The home of everything wild, powerful, and fascinating in the animal kingdom. If you're new here, my name doesn't matter as much as what we do on this channel. We dig deep into the world's most misunderstood, most powerful, and most controversial dog breeds, and we give you the real story, not the internet myths. Today's topic has been requested by so many of you. The Bully Kutta, also known as the Pakistani Mastiff, the Indian Mastiff, or the Bully. This is a breed wrapped in legend, fear, pride, and controversy, and honestly, there's no better breed to dive deep into. Before we jump in, I want to say, this video took a lot of research to put together, and if you find value in it, the best way to support this channel is simple. Hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, click the notification bell right next to it. We upload breed deep dives like this regularly, and if you don't turn on notifications, YouTube probably won't even show you the next one. So go ahead, subscribe now before you forget. It takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps this channel grow so we can keep making content like this. Alright, let's talk about where this incredible breed actually comes from. Section 1. The origins of the Bully Kutta. To understand why the Bully Kutta inspires so much fear and fascination, you have to go back hundreds of years, long before Pakistan even existed as a country. The breed originates from the Indian subcontinent, the region that today spans modern-day Pakistan and northern India. Historians and breed experts believe the Bully Kutta descends from ancient Molosser-type dogs, the same broad family of powerful, big-boned dogs that gave us breeds like the Mastiff, the Bull Mastiff, and even the Tibetan Mastiff. Some researchers believe it shares ancestry with the Old Sind Hound and Elant-type Molossus dogs that were brought into the region through trade and conquest over the centuries. The name itself tells a story. In Urdu and Hindi, the word Kutta simply means dog, but the first part of the name is where it gets interesting. Most breed historians agree the name comes from the word boli or bully, meaning heavily wrinkled, referring to the loose, thick folds of skin around the dog's neck and head. This wasn't just a cosmetic feature. That wrinkled skin served a real, brutal purpose. It was a defense mechanism. If the dog was ever gripped by the jaws of another animal, whether a rival dog or a wild predator, that loose skin gave the Bully Kutta room to twist and turn inside its own hide, allowing it to counterattack even while being bitten. It's the same evolutionary logic you see in guardian breeds around the world, from the Shar-Pei's wrinkles to the loose skin of certain fighting mastiffs. Now here's something important. Many English speakers today assume the name comes from the English word bully, and honestly, it's easy to see why, especially given how the breed is often portrayed. But according to most historical accounts, that's actually a mispronunciation. The original word was bully, not bully, but during British colonial rule in the region, the word was anglicized, and Bully Kutta stuck. We're going to talk about this in much more detail later in the video, because it's absolutely central to understanding the bans. After the partition of India in 1947, the breed became especially associated with Pakistan, where it earned the nickname the Pakistani Mastiff and became something of a national symbol of strength and toughness. Owning a powerful, well-bred Bully Kutta in parts of Pakistan today is still seen by many as a status symbol, similar to how owning an exotic car might be viewed elsewhere. Breeders in cities like Lahore have spent generations refining bloodlines, and the biggest, most muscular specimens can command extremely high prices. So already, just from the origin story alone, you can start to see the pieces coming together. a dog bred for combat with dangerous wild animals, refined for centuries around guarding and dominance, and unfortunately, exploited for underground fighting. That combination of traits is exactly what's going to become important as we explore why this breed is so heavily restricted around the world. But before we get to the bans, let's talk about what actually makes this dog so physically formidable, because the numbers are honestly staggering. Section 2. Physical characteristics and raw strength. If you've ever seen a Bully Kutta in person, you understand immediately why people are intimidated. This isn't a dog that sneaks up on you. It's a dog that fills a doorway. Let's start with size. A well-bred, mature male Bully Kutta typically stands somewhere between 30 to 44 inches at the shoulder. And yes, that upper range is not a typo. Some of the largest documented Bully Kuttas have approached heights that put them at eye level with an average adult standing beside them on all fours. In terms of weight, males commonly range from 90 to over 170 pounds, with some of the most massive specimens bred specifically for size reportedly exceeding that. For comparison, that puts a large Bully Kutta in the same weight class as an English Mastiff or a Great Dane, but with a completely different body type. Where a Great Dane is tall and somewhat lean, the Bully Kutta is broad, dense, and heavily muscled, more in line with breeds like the Cane Corso or the old-style Bull Mastiff, just scaled up significantly. The head of a Bully Kutta is one of its most defining and, frankly, most intimidating features. It has a massive, blocky skull with a powerful, wide jaw. The bite force of large molosser breeds in general is estimated to fall somewhere in the range of 300 to over 500 pounds per square inch. And while exact scientific bite force data specifically on the Bully Kutta is limited, breed experts widely agree it's among the strongest bites of any domestic dog breed, given its skull structure and jaw muscle mass. To put that in perspective, an average domestic dog might bite down with somewhere around 150 to 200 psi. We're talking about a breed potentially capable of nearly double that. Then there's the neck, thick, heavily muscled, and often adorned with that signature loose, wrinkled skin we talked about earlier. This neck structure isn't just for show. It houses an enormous amount of raw power, which is part of why the Bully Kutta has historically been able to overpower animals many times more dangerous than a typical pet dog would ever face. The chest is deep and broad, giving the dog enormous lung capacity and stamina, critical for a working and hunting breed that needed to chase down game over long distances or hold its ground in a physical confrontation. The legs are thick, straight, and heavily boned, built more like pillars than typical canine limbs, supporting that massive frame without buckling under the weight. Coat-wise, the Bully Kutta typically has a short, dense coat, most commonly seen in white, though brindle, fawn, black, and pied color patterns also occur. That short coat, by the way, is actually a vulnerability because the breed lacks a thick undercoat. It's genuinely unsuited to extremely cold climates, which is one small but interesting factor that limits where this breed can comfortably live. Now here's something that really separates the Bully Kutta from other giant breeds. It's athleticism. A lot of massive dog breeds, once they cross a certain weight threshold, become slow, lumbering, and somewhat clumsy. The Bully Kutta defies that stereotype. Despite its size, it's remarkably fast, agile, and explosive for its weight class, a trait that made it so effective as a big-game hunting dog. This isn't a dog that just stands there looking scary. It's a dog that can close distance on a target shockingly quickly. When you combine all of this, the size, the bite force, the muscle density, the stamina, and the surprising agility, you start to understand why so many breed enthusiasts and dog experts around the world regard the Bully Kutta as one of the physically strongest dog breeds on the planet, if not the strongest. Some breed rankings and enthusiast communities place it at or near the very top of raw power comparisons, ahead of even the Kangal, the Caucasian Shepherd, and the Tibetan Mastiff. Though it's worth noting these comparisons are more anecdotal than scientifically standardized, since there's very little formal athletic or strength testing done across giant guardian breeds. But here's the thing that I think gets lost in a lot of these strongest dog-style videos. Physical power alone doesn't explain why a breed gets banned. Plenty of massive, powerful dog breeds are legal almost everywhere in the world. The Great Dane is massive. The English Mastiff is massive. Neither of those breeds carries the same reputation or the same legal restrictions as the Bully Kutta, at least not universally. So if it's not just about size and strength, what is it about? That's where temperament, history, and human decisions come into play, and that's exactly what we need to unpack next. Section 3. Temperament, loyal protector or dangerous liability. This is where the story of the Bully Kutta gets genuinely complicated, and I want to be fair and balanced here, because the internet loves to paint this breed in extremes, either as a bloodthirsty monster or as a misunderstood teddy bear. The truth, like with most powerful guardian breeds, sits somewhere in between. Let's start with the positive traits, because there are many, and they're well documented across breed literature and by owners who responsibly raise this dog. The Bully Kutta is widely described as extremely loyal and devoted to its family. This is a dog that, when properly socialized and raised in a stable environment, forms an intensely strong bond with its owners, often showing a level of protectiveness that borders on obsessive. Owners frequently describe their Bully Kuttas as gentle, even affectionate, with the people they consider their pack, including children in many cases, provided the dog has been raised around them from a young age. The breed is also considered highly intelligent. This isn't a dog that acts purely on instinct without thought. Bully Kuttas are known to be perceptive, quick learners, and capable of complex training when handled by someone experienced. Historically, this intelligence was essential. A dog being used to hunt dangerous game or guard a large property couldn't just be a mindless muscle machine. It needed to read situations, make decisions, and respond appropriately, sometimes without direct human guidance in the moment. Confidence and fearlessness are also core traits of this breed. A Bully Kutta typically does not back down from a threat, and it doesn't startle easily. This is, again, a direct product of centuries of breeding for guarding and confrontation work. Now here's where things shift into more concerning territory. That same fearlessness and protective instinct, when combined with the breed's raw physical power, becomes a serious liability in the wrong hands or the wrong environment. Bully Kuttas are widely documented as being aggressive toward other animals, particularly other dogs, especially those of the same sex. This isn't a minor quirk. It's a deeply ingrained trait, shaped by generations of selective breeding for guarding and, in the darker corners of the breed's history, for fighting. Even breed enthusiasts who love and defend this dog will typically acknowledge, if they're being honest, that dog-to-dog aggression is a real and serious consideration for anyone thinking about owning one. The breed can also be highly territorial and wary of strangers. Without proper socialization from a young age, a Bully Kutta may view unfamiliar people approaching its home or its family as a threat to be neutralized rather than simply tolerated. And given the physical capabilities we just spent an entire section detailing, the bite force, the size, the speed, a defensive or aggressive reaction from this breed carries a level of risk that a smaller, less powerful dog simply doesn't carry. This is really the crux of the entire dangerous breed conversation, not just for the Bully Kutta, but for any large guardian or working breed. It's rarely about whether the dog is inherently evil or malicious. Dogs don't have that kind of moral reasoning. It's about risk mathematics. A poorly socialized, poorly trained small dog that bites someone might cause a painful injury. A poorly socialized, poorly trained Bully Kutta that bites someone can cause catastrophic, life-altering, or even fatal injuries, purely because of the physical forces involved. And this is exactly why breed experts and responsible owners emphasize, again and again, that early socialization is not optional for this breed. It's essential. A Bully Kutta that's exposed from puppyhood to different people, environments, sounds, and other animals, combined with firm, consistent, experienced training, can absolutely be a stable, well-adjusted, loyal companion. But a Bully Kutta that's isolated, under-socialized, or worse, deliberately trained to be aggressive for guarding or fighting purposes, becomes an entirely different and far more dangerous animal. This is also where I want to introduce an important concept if you're not already familiar with it: the difference between a breed's genetic temperament tendencies and an individual dog's actual behavior. Genetics loads the gun in terms of potential, physical capability, prey drive, guarding instinct, but environment, training, and socialization pull the trigger, so to speak. Two Bully Kuttas from similar bloodlines can turn out completely differently, depending entirely on how they were raised. Keep this concept in mind, because it's going to become really important when we get into the legal bans. Because a lot of breed-specific legislation around the world treats genetics as destiny, banning entire breeds based on worst-case outcomes, without necessarily accounting for the role that irresponsible ownership plays. Alright, now that we understand the breed's physical power and its complicated temperament, let's actually get into the main question of this video. Which countries have banned the Bully Kutta and why? Section 4. The global bans, where and why. This is what you're really here for. So let's break it down country by country, and more importantly, let's talk about the reasoning behind each of these restrictions. First, it's important to understand the legal framework most of these bans fall under. It's called breed-specific legislation, often abbreviated as BSL. This is a category of law that prohibits or heavily restricts the ownership, breeding, importation, or sale of specific dog breeds that a government has identified as inherently dangerous, regardless of any individual dog's actual behavior or temperament. Instead of judging dogs case by case, BSL essentially says, this breed, as a category, poses enough of a public safety risk that it should be banned or tightly controlled. BSL is controversial, and we'll talk about that controversy later in the video. But first, let's look at where the Bully Kutta specifically falls under these laws. Belarus is one of the most striking examples. Belarus maintains one of the most extensive dangerous dog breed lists in the world, reportedly covering around 40 different breeds, and the Bully Kutta is on that list. Under Belarusian law, dogs on this restricted list come with serious ownership conditions, and in many cases, minors and people with certain disabilities are prohibited from owning these breeds entirely, reflecting just how seriously the law treats the potential risk. Turkey also restricts the Bully Kutta as part of its broader dangerous dog regulations, which target breeds associated with fighting backgrounds and extreme size or aggression potential. Ukraine has similar restrictions in place, again grouping the Bully Kutta with other molosser and fighting-associated breeds under its dangerous dog framework. The United Arab Emirates is another significant one, and this is particularly notable because the UAE has a substantial South Asian expatriate population, meaning many people from Pakistan and India who might otherwise want to bring or own this breed are legally barred from doing so under UAE regulations targeting dangerous and fighting-type breeds. Beyond these, various sources tracking global breed restrictions note that the Bully Kutta appears on restricted or banned lists in several additional countries and jurisdictions, often grouped alongside other Mastiff type and molosser breeds like the Fila Brasilero, the Dogo Argentino, the Presa Canario, and the Japanese Tosa, all breeds that share a similar profile, large size, historical fighting or guarding backgrounds, and powerful bite capability. It's also worth mentioning that within Pakistan and India themselves, the breed's home region, there are growing conversations around regulation. In 2024, India moved toward restricting the breeding and selling of primary breeds associated with organized dogfighting, a category that directly includes the Bully Kutta, given its deep historical association with that underground activity in parts of the subcontinent. So why does this pattern keep repeating across so many different countries and legal systems? When you look at the reasoning behind breed-specific legislation targeting the Bully Kutta, it generally comes down to a combination of the same core factors over and over. Number 1. Extreme size and physical power, which we covered extensively. The sheer bite force and body mass mean that any aggressive incident carries a dramatically higher potential for serious injury or death compared to smaller breeds. Number 2. Historical association with dogfighting. This is huge. Breeds that have a documented history of being bred and used specifically for fighting other animals tend to be flagged by lawmakers as inherently higher risk, because that history often correlates with selective breeding for heightened dog-to-dog aggression, high pain tolerance, and a lower bite inhibition threshold, meaning historically, some bloodlines were deliberately shaped to be more willing to escalate to serious aggression. Number 3. Difficulty of ownership and containment. A dog of this size requires serious infrastructure, reinforced fencing, secure housing, and an owner genuinely capable of physically controlling the animal if needed. Many governments, when drafting BSL, essentially assume that the average pet owner is not equipped to safely manage a breed of this size and power, especially in dense urban environments. Number 4. Lack of formal breed standardization. The Bully Kutta is not recognized by any major international kennel club, like the American Kennel Club or the UK Kennel Club. This might sound like a minor bureaucratic detail, but it actually matters a lot in terms of legislation. Recognized breeds typically have established, documented breed standards that responsible breeders follow, along with health testing protocols and temperament guidelines. Without formal recognition, there's far more inconsistency in how Bully Kuttas are bred, meaning temperament and physical traits can vary enormously from one bloodline to another, and some breeders, particularly those breeding for the underground fighting circuit or for maximum size and aggression as a status symbol, may prioritize traits that make the dog objectively more dangerous. Number 5, and this is a big one, high-profile incidents. Like with almost every banned breed in history, from pit bulls to Rottweilers to the Japanese Tosa, breed-specific legislation is very often reactive rather than proactive. It tends to follow serious, well-publicized attacks. A small number of severe incidents involving a breed can trigger sweeping legislative bans that then apply to every single dog of that breed, regardless of how that individual dog was raised or how many other dogs of the same breed live peacefully with families around the world. Now, I want to pause here and give you an important piece of context that a lot of channels covering this topic skip entirely, and it's genuinely important if you want to actually understand this issue rather than just be scared by it. The scientific and veterinary community is actually quite divided on whether breed-specific legislation is even effective at improving public safety. Multiple studies and major veterinary organizations, including, notably, the American Veterinary Medical Association, have expressed skepticism about BSL as an effective public safety tool. Their argument is that a dog's individual behavior is shaped far more significantly by factors like training, socialization, owner responsibility, and whether the dog was spayed or neutered, rather than by breed alone. Under this view, banning an entire breed doesn't actually solve the underlying problem, irresponsible ownership, and, in the case of the Bully Kutta specifically, the underground fighting culture that has historically surrounded parts of the breed, while simultaneously penalizing thousands of responsible owners and well-behaved dogs. On the other hand, supporters of breed-specific legislation point to insurance and injury data showing that certain breeds, including large Molosser and Mastiff-type dogs, are disproportionately involved in the most severe dog bite injuries and fatalities, even if they're not involved in the most total incidents. Their argument is essentially about severity and risk management. Even if a Bully Kutta is statistically no more likely to bite than a smaller dog, when it does bite, the consequences are categorically more severe, and lawmakers have a responsibility to weigh that risk. I'm not going to sit here and tell you which side of that debate is correct, because honestly, it's a genuinely contested issue even among experts. But I think it's important you understand that this isn't a simple case of this breed is evil and every country agrees. It's a complex intersection of genuine safety concerns, historical baggage from dogfighting culture, inconsistent breeding practices, and a legislative approach that many experts consider blunt and imperfect. Now, let's talk more specifically about that dogfighting history, because I promised we'd come back to it, and it's honestly one of the most important and most difficult parts of this breed story. Section 5, the dogfighting problem. I want to handle this section carefully and honestly, because it's uncomfortable, but you cannot tell the true story of the Bully Kutta without confronting it directly. In parts of Pakistan and northern India, organized dog fighting involving Bully Kuttas has existed for generations, and unfortunately, in some regions, it persists today, despite being illegal in most jurisdictions where it occurs. These aren't casual, spontaneous scuffles. They're organized events, sometimes with betting involved, where two dogs are deliberately set against each other in a confined space until one is unable to continue. This underground culture has had a direct, lasting impact on how certain Bully Kutta bloodlines have been bred. When breeders select dogs specifically for their willingness to fight and their ability to inflict damage on another dog, they are, whether intentionally or not, shaping the genetic and behavioral profile of that lineage over generations. This is fundamentally different from breeding for guarding or hunting, where aggression toward a threat is channeled and controlled. Fighting line breeding actively selects for heightened dog-directed aggression as the primary trait. This is a critical distinction that responsible breed advocates try hard to communicate, and it's one I want to make sure comes through clearly in this video. Not every Bully Kutta comes from fighting lines. Many are bred by responsible breeders in Pakistan and internationally who focus on guarding ability, structural health, and stable temperament, producing dogs that make genuinely excellent, loyal family protectors when raised correctly. But the shadow of the fighting bloodlines hangs over the breed's overall reputation. And it's a major reason why legislators, when drafting breed bans, often can't or don't distinguish between a well-bred guardian line and a poorly bred fighting line. From a legal standpoint, it's simpler, and admittedly blunter, to just ban the breed as a whole. This underground fighting culture also contributes to another serious problem: irresponsible breeding for extreme size and aggression as a status symbol, disconnected from any historical working purpose. When a breed becomes associated with toughness and dominance, there's a market incentive for some breeders to push size and aggression to unhealthy extremes, without any regard for temperament stability or the dog's actual quality of life. This is unfortunately a pattern we see across many powerful breeds worldwide, not just the Bully Kutta, but it's particularly pronounced in this breed given its cultural association with strength and status in parts of Pakistan. Animal welfare organizations, both within Pakistan and internationally, have increasingly spoken out against dog fighting involving this breed, and there's a growing movement, including that 2024 legislative push in India we mentioned earlier, to specifically target and criminalize the breeding and trading practices that fuel this underground activity. I bring this up not to villainize an entire country or culture, but because I think it's the single most important piece of context for understanding why the Bully Kutta specifically, as opposed to other giant Mastiff breeds, has become such a frequent target of breed-specific bans around the world. It's not just about size. It's about a documented history of exploitation that has shaped both the breed's genetics in certain lines and its global reputation. Alright, let's shift gears now and talk about something a little more balanced: how this breed compares to other famous giant dog breeds, and what responsible ownership of a Bully Kutta actually looks like. Section 6. Bully Kutta versus other giant breeds. To really appreciate where the Bully Kutta sits in the world of powerful dogs, it helps to compare it against some of its closest rivals. Take the Tibetan Mastiff, another giant guardian breed with ancient roots, historically used to protect livestock from wolves and even snow leopards in the Himalayas. Like the Bully Kutta, the Tibetan Mastiff is enormous, fiercely protective, and can be wary of strangers. But the Tibetan Mastiff generally has a calmer baseline temperament and a lower historical association with dog-to-dog fighting specifically, which is part of why it faces fewer outright bans globally, even though it's still restricted in some places. Then there's the Kangal, Turkey's legendary livestock guardian, often cited alongside the Bully Kutta in strongest bite force comparisons. The Kangal was bred almost exclusively for guarding sheep against wolves and bears, not for hunting big game or fighting, which has shaped it into a breed that's typically calmer around its flock and family, though still fiercely protective when threatened. The cane Corso and Dogo Argentino are probably the closest comparisons in terms of legal treatment. Both are powerful, historically used for big game hunting and guarding, and both face restrictions in a number of countries for very similar reasons to the Bully Kutta: size, bite force, and in the Dogo's case specifically, a history connected to dog fighting as well. What sets the Bully Kutta apart, in my honest assessment after researching this topic extensively, isn't necessarily that it's more dangerous than every one of these breeds. It's that it combines several risk factors simultaneously: extreme size at the very top end of the breed standard, a well-documented regional fighting culture, inconsistent breeding standards due to lack of formal kennel club recognition, and a reputation, deserved or not, as a status symbol tied to dominance and toughness, rather than companionship. That combination is what pushes it onto so many restricted breed lists worldwide, even in countries that don't ban comparable breeds like the English Mastiff or the Great Dane. Section 7. Responsible ownership. Can this breed ever be a safe family dog? I want to end the substantive part of this video on a fair and balanced note, because I don't think it's honest to leave you with the impression that this breed is nothing but a walking liability. In regions where it's legal to own, including parts of Pakistan, and among specialist breeders and collectors in various other countries, the Bully Kutta absolutely can be, and often is, a stable, loyal, and manageable companion, provided several critical conditions are met. First, early and consistent socialization is non-negotiable. A Bully Kutta puppy needs controlled, positive exposure to different people, environments, sounds, and other animals from a very young age. This isn't optional for this breed the way it might be a nice-to-have for a naturally easygoing breed. For a Bully Kutta, it's the single most important factor determining whether the adult dog becomes a stable protector or an unpredictable liability. Second, experienced, confident handling. This is not a beginner's dog. Given its size, strength, and independent thinking, a Bully Kutta needs an owner who understands dog behavior, can establish clear, consistent leadership without resorting to harsh or fear-based methods, and has the physical capability to control an animal of this size if a situation calls for it. Third, proper containment and infrastructure. Secure, reinforced fencing, safe housing, and careful management around other animals, especially other dogs of the same sex, are essential, given the breed's well-documented dog-to-dog aggression tendencies. Fourth, and this one matters more than people realize, sourcing the dog from a responsible breeder. Given everything we've discussed about fighting bloodlines and inconsistent breeding standards, where a Bully Kutta comes from genuinely matters. A dog from a breeder who prioritizes stable temperament and health over extreme size or aggression is going to be a fundamentally different prospect than a dog from an unregulated breeder connected to the underground fighting trade. When these conditions are met, breed advocates and experienced owners consistently describe the Bully Kutta as an extraordinarily loyal, protective, and even affectionate companion within its own family unit. A dog that will calmly rest at your feet at home and instantly transform into an unwavering wall of protection the moment it senses genuine danger. But, and I want to be very direct about this, this is not a breed suited for inexperienced owners, small living spaces, or households that can't commit to the serious responsibility that comes with managing an animal this powerful. The same traits that make this breed a legendary guardian are exactly the traits that make it dangerous when mismanaged. And that duality is really the entire story of why this breed exists in the legal gray zone it does around the world today. Conclusion. So, is the ban justified? So, after everything we've covered, the origins, the raw physical power, the complicated temperament, the dog-fighting history, and the patchwork of bans across the globe, where does that leave us? Here's my honest take. The Bully Kutta isn't banned because it's an inherently evil breed. It's restricted because it represents a concentrated combination of risk factors: extreme size, powerful bite force, a documented history tied to organized dogfighting, and inconsistent breeding standards, all wrapped into a single animal that most average pet owners are simply not equipped to manage safely. At the same time, it's a breed with a genuinely proud history as a hunter, a guardian, and in the right hands, an incredibly loyal companion. The tragedy, if there is one, is that decades of exploitation in underground fighting circuits have permanently shaped how the rest of the world sees this breed, often overshadowing the responsible owners and well-bred lines that exist alongside that darker history. Whether you think outright breed bans are the right solution, or whether you lean toward the argument that responsible ownership and stricter enforcement against dogfighting would be more effective, one thing is clear. The Bully Kutta will likely remain one of the most powerful, most controversial, and most fascinating dog breeds in the world for a long time to come. And that's the full story of the Bully Kutta, the Pakistani Mastiff, one of the most powerful and most controversial dog breeds on the planet. If you learned something new today, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who'd find it interesting. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Pet Kennel 91. And just as importantly, click that notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the world's most fascinating, powerful, and misunderstood animals. Drop a comment down below. Have you ever encountered a Bully Kutta in person? Do you think breed bans like this are fair? Or do you think it comes down to the owner, not the breed? I read every single comment, and I want to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It genuinely means a lot. This has been Pet Kennel 91. I'll see you in the next one.